HP when he's lower. Um, Also, you can use your dash to dash into somebody and then dash up towards the brush to drop aggro from minions unless it's warded, and that's a really easy way to get them to hit you, take a bunch of minion damage, and then basically negate minions doing damage to you in the same amount of time during a trade. I will say, Renekton did a great job not dying, and that's really big. I don't think he had a death until like 17 minutes into the game, which is pretty good considering how behind his team was. Also, if you're going to buy a Hex Drinker in that game, you're going to want it to build it way earlier since they have an AP jungler and an AP top lane. Again, I hit upon this in the game once we were there, but Draven being the most fed person on their team, that Hex Drinker is going to help a bit, if Fiddle ults and when Zach's doing damage, but for the most part, it probably would have been better to just finish off your Sunfire Cape or to just get a Randuin's to try and help not die to that Draven as much as possible, or even potentially go in on that Draven, force him to either kite you, which he then kites himself if you have a Randuin's and make space so your team's not getting insta-murdered. But Renekton never really got the chance to get big enough to do that, so it's not a huge hit on him. Also, teleport's really good on Renekton, but at the same time, Ignite can be really, really good in the lane where you're up against somebody with a lot of innate sustain, such as Zach, especially when you're playing with somebody like Xin, where you can get that kill off early, or at least drop his passive early, and then as soon as he comes back, you can just Ignite, throw like one auto attack on him, and he's probably dead too. So keep that in mind. Renekton's one of those only top laners that we'll talk about on the podcast and say that taking Ignite on him can be much better than taking Teleport on him in certain situations, just because of how strong he is early. That Ignite can make a huge difference, and just the threat of Ignite can create so much breathing room for you in lane to continue to farm and keeping them back. As for Zach, Spork did a great job staying up on farm and even being ahead on farm compared to Renekton, even though he was shoved out to the turret a lot early. He missed a ton of CS early, and even though he missed a lot of CS, he still stayed on par with the Renekton. So I would say another thing for Renekton to work on is sometimes it's more important to continue getting off an extra 2, 3, 4 minion kills rather than chasing somebody away and taking the minion damage in between. Don't tunnel vision as much when you're going to hurt people, and when you are going to trade, dump your abilities and then get out and drop aggro and then go back to farming, and basically just trade whenever you can with cooldowns as long as it's safe and you know you're not getting ganked. Renekton's early game ability to just be a pain in the ass is what makes him so strong. Sport came out with some really nice teleports, especially right around the time Fiddle would go to engage. Overall, he played Zach pretty well into what usually would be a losing lane. The one big thing I would say is that sometimes it's not worth going in to pick up blobs when getting the blob is going to give back less health than what damage is going to be done to you when somebody like Renekton goes to trade. So say a blob flies close to Renekton and you can definitely get to it before Renekton can get there. If he hasn't used any of his abilities in a few seconds and you know he has most of his combo up, it's probably not best to go run over and try to pick that up, because sure, you're going to get 4% of your health back, but he just did 8% in return, so it's still a net loss of health. That being said, you did a really good job picking up blobs. Otherwise, you got a little too greedy to get blobs at some points, and I think part of that is why you kept getting pushed back to the turret. Renekton could come in and trade. Just you got to be careful with minion aggro too. Otherwise, it was a pretty good laning phase for both top laners. They did a good job avoiding dying to ganks, which is huge. And other than the weird drain that did no damage to Renekton, I say just focus on one problem or one mistake you're making at a time, and just try to whittle down one thing and get your mistakes to as minimal mistakes made as possible. So just take one thing at a time and work on them, and then go and play some more and figure out what else you're doing wrong. And keep playing Battle Arena because we can tell you stuff that you're doing.
Yep, good plug. Good stuff.
I talked forever, so
Yeah,
that's
cool. So we have 2 more slots, guys. We are looking for people that haven't played yet. Right now, we don't have anyone that has played. Steedy, I'm really sorry, man. But rules are rules. You're just at a significant disadvantage if you're not 30. Even
And your
without
team is
runes.
at a
Yeah.
significant disadvantage on
And
your behalf. So it's not. We would love for you to play, but it isn't that it's you're at a disadvantage, but it's also not fair to the people on your
yeah.
team.
So don't feel like we're doing it out of spite. We're not. It's just that's just the way it is, and you know, it's just how it is. So yeah, we have 2 more slots open, guys. If you haven't gotten in on this yet, please join quickly. We want to get this done, and so we can like up and playing, so you guys can play and we can talk. 2 slots. 2 slots. Again, people that haven't played yet.
Steedy's fighting for a spot.
Yeah, I know.
Yo, Steedy, go queue up for some regular games, man. Go get that 30.
I want
We
you
can
to
play
play,
next
buddy.
week.
I really do. But yeah.
Fuck, if I'm around, I'll chat with y'all next week too, just for fun.
Yeah. Dude, I
But
love
not.
doing this. It's
It's
hella
Tuesday,
fun.
right? Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
And either Spork or Zirin, I guess Zirin, X Zirin, whatever you want me to call you, feel free to add me in game and we can talk. Also, I'd be happy to play 1v1s against one another as well, just to show you how to trade better, or to get a feel for what you're doing wrong in trades. It's way, way easier for me to see things when I'm actually experiencing them rather than just watching. So, just feel free to add me. And that goes for everybody. Feel free to add me. I don't give a fuck. I'm not an asshole. So
And yeah, and Badger Senpai, please add him. He's in there right now. You can't actually see it 'cause it's covering up, but add him because he'll talk, and you can also add me. And pretty much anybody from Trinity Force, you can add them, and we will give you advice.
I know D Claude will definitely love for people to add him. He loves talking to all the fans. Every one of us really likes talking to the fans, and we love interacting with you guys. The only person I would say would have maybe a hard time is Ponophobia, and that's just because he's so busy all the time, and it isn't a hit on you guys. It's just he has like a full friends list as it is anyway, and he has so much shit to do between the podcast and GG Chronicle that he hasn't had any time to even play this game recently. So feel free to add him, but if he doesn't accept it, whatever, don't be butthurt about it. Just add one of us and we'll talk to you.
Sorry, Steedy. Really, we're sorry. And if you want to, go watch those other games that we have posted. People do weird matchups all the time. So, okay, for this one, I want you guys to play a lane that you don't know at all. Like, try and get a lane that is either
Really, really foreign
Yeah,
to you, so
the
you make a
opposite
fuckload of
spectrum.
mistakes, and it's gonna
Yeah.
be great.
because we want to give you guys advice. And I'm going to start enforcing this more. Like, I've played with you guys enough to know where a lot of you, like, tend to go. So I don't want to
Arrive
see
at.
Cargan in support. I don't want to see. I mean, Badger, I'm gonna have you be mid or wherever you choose because that's your strong. Like where you're getting in game and stuff. Matei, I don't want to see you in mid because you play at mid. Half bent, same with you. You're not going mid. You're gonna go somewhere else. Zach, you don't get top. You get something else. Like play a lane that you don't normally play. And we're gonna fill this slot here in a second if no one comes. But I really, guys, I really want someone else to play that hasn't played yet. So if you have someone that is new and could use a little bit of advice, get them in here. I'm gonna start spamming people. Whatever, same thing. Cheer will join us as soon as we decide that. Well, actually, I think Santana, I'm just gonna have you drop out so Cheer can get in here because I'm gonna just call it right now and say we're gonna pull someone else.
So wait, I'm what?
You're not playing. You're gonna get in
Oh
here.
shit! I need to get in. What am I doing? Should join that shit. I'm the devil.
So
Join game. Keep forgetting I have to do stuff. Probably important.
someone join.
All right.
One more slot.
People in the Twitch chat that haven't played a game, go fucking play, cause we need one more person. Also, go to tinyurl. What is it? Fucking. God damn it! I don't have the page up anymore. Hold on. Go to tinyurl.com/tforcenature and get yourself a box of Nature Box snacks. They're delicious, and I just ordered a box myself. And I told Adam that as soon as they arrive, I am going to eat them on the podcast and moan suggestively every time. And there's
Nice.
nothing you can do about it. So, prepare yourselves.
Someone please come play. Someone new that hasn't played yet, please play.
I like what J43434 says. What if you're a god at every roll? And usually I would take that as a maybe you are a god at every roll, but since you're not Diamond 1 or Challenger, I'm gonna say you're probably not a god at every roll, so play whatever you think you suck at. And we'll talk about it coming up on the T-Force Podcast Battle Arena.
Guys, someone.
Zach B, just tell your girlfriend that your Jaden said hi and that he needed you and you were a hero to the T-Force Nation. Thanks, buddy. We love you.
Apparently Zach B got the last. Is gonna get someone.
Nice. What a hero. See, I told you he was the man. Look at that shit.
Yeah, it's fine. Get him in here. God, how many friends do you have on League?
Me?
Yeah,
36 that are online.
I have 56.
See, I don't know what to tell you. I don't spam, hey, assholes, add me as friends, but
I don't do
did
that either.
tonight.
People just add me.
Yeah, but
There we go.
you talk
Sabretooth.
all-
Awesome. All right, let's
Oh,
get
shit.
this started.
Let's do this.
Do your plug. Go fast. It's
I have
for
to do
YouTube.
the whole fucking thing again?
It's for YouTube. Sorry, buddy.
Oh, god damn it. Okay, so the Battle Arena plugs that you have to hear for the second goddamn time tonight. I'm
mad?
never going to get used to that. Yeah, I'm fucking pissed. Not really. I love us. And I'm looking at one of my new pet rats sniff the air like a weird animal. Okay, so for the T-Force channel and the T-Force podcast, you should check us out on Mondays and Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is also 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at twitch.tv/T-Force podcast. You should also check out the LCS Rundown, which happens every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, for anybody that just can't get enough League of Legends stuff, go check out our Aussie brethren, the Ozolo podcast, who their podcasts are available from TrinityForcePodcast.com. In game, you can check us out on the T-Force channel, and if you don't know how to get into the channels, which probably most of you do, but some of you might not, when you bring up the League client and you see your little friends list, there's 2 chat bubbles right next to your friends list. Hit the chat bubbles. Right above that little chat bubble icon is a chat bubble that has a plus next to it. Hit that and type in that box T-Force, which is just TFORCE without any space, and you'll join a channel with a bunch of T-Force fans and basically all the hosts whenever we're on. We're in there, and sometimes we talk, sometimes we don't. I forget half the time, but we'll talk to you, friends. Don't worry, we'll be there sometimes. Anyway, for the T-Force channel, or if you're trying to get a hold of us in game, you can get Adam at Phonophobia, Declawed at Declawed, Dom Nom Nom, myself, Cheer Jaden, Serial Baux, Optimus Tom, Mont Nagorum, GR Russo, Badger Senpai Please, Asdorition, Carrot Colossus, Steven Garstone, Piggy Boy, and Vesp Cutie, which is all the hosts from our giant T-Force network conglomerate and all that good stuff. For our website, you can always catch us at trinityforcepodcast.com. And our Twitch channel is twitch.tv/tforcepodcast. Our Twitter handles are at ggcpone, at dclawed, at dsharoni, at Shira Jaden. Our Battle Arena hosts are typically at Lawbadger and at Asterition. Our LCS Rundown hosts are at Serial Box, at Mont Nagorum, at Optimus Tom, and at GR Russo. And the Oz LOL podcast hosts are at Carrot Colossus, at Steven Garstone, at Piggyboy1, and at BespQT, whatever the underscore is, League of Legends. And bam! There it is.
Good check.
Plugs for days.
So, a lot of you might be asking what Battle Arena is. Well, if you're fresh and new here, Battle Arena is where we get a 5v5, and we bring you in and we have you face off against each other, playing. We hope to make you guys play roles that you're not usually used to, but we want you to experience solo queue in a controlled environment so that you guys can learn to get better. And we'll give constructive criticism, maybe even just straight criticism. That isn't constructive, and we'll just do an assortment of things to help you get better at the game. And we do this every Tuesday at 7. Did you say times by chance? Yeah, you said times.
I say times sometimes. Yeah, catch us on Tuesdays. We do the Battle Arena shit. Sometimes I'll be here. Most of the time it's Badger and Asdorition, and they're two lovely, handsome gentlemen that do a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm. So, it's just to help you get better. There's no voice chat allowed to fully replicate solo queue, so it's to make you guys get better. And I like the picks right now. A lot of interesting picks, and I like it.
I will say, I think it's funny that we told everybody to play something that they're bad at, and I don't know if they're actually picking lanes that they're bad at, or they're just picking champions that they're bad at, because for the most part, we have a lot of skill-oriented champs right now that I hope just magical things happen.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know either. I actually, Pata and Sabretooth, I have never seen in this, so I'm really happy that you guys are here. So
always good to have new people.
It's nice to see you guys here. I appreciate it. Tell your friends that we do this. I plugged the hell out of T-Force and VG while I was in Fanime. So I hope some people will participate from there, but Okay. Who wants special attention? Per the norm.
God, special attention. I feel like I'm just selling myself for nothing. Such a cheap whore. God.
Yeah. Azrish or Kargan, you're not allowed to play support. Zach B. Okay. Zach B is playing Yasuo.
Yasuo who?
Okay, Kargan.
I like Yasuo. I'm probably
playing
the
top.
only person from the T-Force podcast that even plays Yasuo, so I'd love to talk about Yasuo. And I like that Aatrox pick too, because oh, never mind. Badger, you're killing me, man.
Anyone else want specific attention? If not, then I'm going to leave Zach B to you, and I will watch Kargan. And
All right. Sounds good. I actually, I'm probably going to pay attention to both because I used to play a lot of Riven, and I think I'm also the only person on the T-Force podcast that plays Riven.
Yeah, I play
mainly
because
Adam sucks dick at Riven, and if you ever want to watch the worst player play Riven ever, go watch Adam Phonophobia Cogwell play Riven. Just saying it right here, right now, folks. He's the worst. And Badger plays Yasuo.
Yeah,
hey, you know
actually,
what?
He's a really good. He's
really
good Yasuo.
I bet he is great at Yasuo, but
All right.
I
Well, if
played
no
a
one else
fuck-
is saying that they want
I for-
specific attention, I'm going to leave it at that then.
Badger, I forget you play mid all the time, baby.
This entire time there was no music playing.
Who cares? I've been talking the whole time, so let my beautiful voice be music to your ears, ladies and gentlemen.
You aren't in. Oh, okay. Amumu wants some attention. I can watch Amumu. I play pretty good Amumu.
I'm just gonna watch everybody and give everybody special attention because I'm that cool. Or maybe not. I don't know.
Well,
We'll
I
see.
mean, the focus attention is supposed to be like mechanics and shit.
No, I gotcha. I get that. I know all about that.
All right, we're about to get into the loading. So initially, we're gonna talk. We could talk. The plug went by really quick. That was a lot. That was a lot faster.
Well, that's because I did it once already, so I had to practice, man. Come on.
All right, so apparently we got more people. So Amumu wants attention, Zach wants attention, Jay and Car. So pretty much all of Purple Team wants attention, and then Matei on Rengar. I know you know Rengar like the back of your hand. So
I played a lot of Rengar recently. I also play him kind of differently than a lot of people, but let's party. Top lane Rangu too. I'm not a huge fan of top lane Rengar at the moment, just because I think he's really strong out of the jungle.
Yeah.
But I will be happy to watch a top lane Rengar because I am just a big fan of Rengar in general.
yeah.
Is he overly strong? No, but he's a lot of fun to play, and he is a AD carry's worst nightmare, so it's great.
Yep.
Though I will say, if anybody was going to pick an AD carry to give Rengar a bad time, Ezreal's up there for one of the most pain in the ass people. Fucking Ezreal. God damn it, Sabertooth Sloth.
Yeah, I don't like Ezreal as a champion.
I don't like playing against Ezreals, and I hate having Ezreals on my team, but that's just because, unlike a lot of AD carries, Ezreal has a hard time straight carrying a game
Yeah.
unless the team is also ahead, just because of the way he does damage.
Yeah, it's especially if you're behind, it's difficult because
That's the big.
yeah,
that's the
walls are like you have to use your Q to be able to do damage, and walls like late game or mid tank champions are just impossible to get through as like AD carry. Like
You don't
in
do
general,
nearly as much damage.
It's even
And
worse when you have to use a skill shot to do it. So
I will say Ezreal does fit in very well with poke comps, just because of what that champion does,
yeah.
and the beautiful disengage that he has for himself. But overall, not a huge fan. He used to carry much harder, and then they looked at him a bit, and that was during like the holy trinity of the Graves Ezreal Corky days back in the end of season 2.
The Holy Trinity.
Yep. I remember that's how they used to refer to it too, which was awesome. But I find it interesting. I think the only person does Riven's knockup work for Yasuo
Yes,
from her
it does.
third E,
It does work.
and Nami has the bubble, so he's not lacking as much.
Yeah,
of the
and
ability to blow people up, so.
with the Mumu ult, it's going to be very easy for Yasuo to just get his tornado off anyway. So
Or even dash in and hit a
Yeah.
multi-person tornado. So there's, I will say, Purple Team has a ton of CC, whereas Blue Team has a lot of just.
all in.
They have huge all-in potential. They have the bonus factor with they're almost playing with 6 people because of Karthus, as long as Karthus can get ahead. And I don't know. I really like Karthus as a champion, and as soon as the rework goes through, and well, not rework, but the visual update goes through, I'm going to be playing him all the time, just because if anybody hasn't seen that skin, go look up the reworked Karthus skin, because fucking visual update Karthus skin, because it looks amazing. The champion looks so much better, and he's actually terrifying. So go check it out, and you can check it out on our friend's website at Surrender at 20. So
Yeah, those guys. All right. Well, this should be an interesting game, I think, because I made them play champions that they don't really know all too well.
and they're all playing for the most part. Oh, there's a lot of skill-based champions, which I like to see too.
Yeah.
I like to see it when people are playing something that they're not comfortable with, just because not only does it increase just their overall game knowledge, but it also opens up some room for a little bit of innovation if they aren't people that typically play these champions all the time. So it's like I'd never played Udyr at all until Dom got me that skin, and then I got so tired of Udyr's early game mana issues, I would just first buy a tier on him all the time, and that was fixed with Feral Flare and the Madstone thing that everybody's running on him nowadays. But I don't know. So you'll find little things that work for you on champions that you might never have thought about. So it's always cool. Play something you're not comfortable with and learn from it.
Yeah.
All the loading is happening.
I actually like teleport on Riven.
I do too. But at the same time, the thing is, Riven has some of the best early game out of any champion in the game, especially with the fact that if she gets a slight lead early and she has Ignite, she will walk all over anybody and kill you, and there's very little you can do about it other than just play safe as shit.
Yeah, that's so true.
I really like Riven as a champion. And compared to a lot of other, and I'm going to lump her in with assassins for the most part, just because the only reason she is even considered bruiser when building full AD is because of the stupid scaling on her shield, which they've looked at multiple times, and they said they'll never do again. At least make another champion with an AD base shield.
Yeah.
But,
okay, so
I love her.
Right off the bat, there's a couple things I want to take note and specify. Guys, don't pick skills unless you're completely sure that you are not getting invaded, or you're not invading. So 2 people on purple team have already chosen skills.
And for solo queue too, it's not always best if you're going to invade to get skills that are only going to help you for the invade. And this is very important for junglers. Like on Elise, if you're going to go for an invade and your entire team's with you, you may be tempted to take your cocoon early to try and get that stun off. That isn't really worth it if you're going to jungler, because say that you do get a kill, that's great. Have fun trying to jungle without your W or Q early.
Yeah, and especially when like all you are going to get from that hit, you're not going to get the kill because you're landing a cocoon. Good luck last hitting a freaking champion. So you're not going to get.
And I think it's still bugged where her cocoon doesn't even offer an assist if you land it and you didn't hit him either.
Yeah. So you gotta be aware of that. So right now, another thing is Beather. I really hate Runic Blessing on junglers. I hate Runic Blessing in general, and I would highly advise you opt to put that point somewhere else. But that's just me.
I'm not a huge fan either, but
coming off the bat, Karma, good stuff. Not like I talked about this 2 weeks ago. Use your mantra like all the time. Don't be stingy with it. I'm glad that you're using it like immediately. Like do that, because there's no reason for you just to save it, especially when you're level 1. Like what are you gonna do? What are you gonna save it for? You get the slow off already. Doesn't matter. So
all right.
Be abusive with your mantra. Keep
going with what's happening in the top lane right now too. Metay's playing Rengar into Riven, and Riven
just hit 2. And
to be honest, has an earlier advantage on Rengar. But the thing is, Rengar was sitting in the bush that entire time, for the most part, not CSing and not kind of trying to at least equalize the lane. So Riven could get 2 over him, and because of that is going to be able to bully him out a little earlier, because she's going to be slightly ahead in levels. As you can see right there was a slight trade, and Riven came out huge on that. Especially early, when the lane's in the middle and the minions aren't focusing you, it can be pretty significant if you can get a decent advantage with oh shit, some stuff's going down. We might get a jump and
nice shield. Good job.
Okay. Rengar kind of ran out of the bush while he was chasing, and because of that, lost vision of Riven for just a slight second. And because of that, Riven was able to get some time before Rengar hit him again to pick up the kill, because Rengar very likely would have killed that Riven
God,
if he had
jukes.
fully been in the bush. And Zach picking up the kill on Vi. Vi.
So, Karthus, if I were Badger, I would be really angry at you right now. Because you spent that entire time in the mid lane CSing instead of going to help your jungler. Badger got himself out of serious position. He really did. He got himself boned over.
Badger was out of position, which isn't exactly a bad thing when he was invading in a Mumu jungle, which is something that typically happens with
always
the
do,
players.
especially as a Vi. But you need to, as the mid laner, like even if he doesn't call for it, and yeah, he screwed himself over, like you need to realize that being selfish in a game is only going to be detrimental for you. So you not collapsing to help him out, messed up.
And the other part of this is Yasuo was equal on farm with you while you kept farming in mid, and because you didn't go to help, he converted a kill out of it anyway, which maybe he still would have converted a kill out of it if you had gone to help.
But maybe you could have helped.
If you could have helped and you could have kept him from getting that kill, that may have been that might have been a huge difference.
Yeah. So take note of that. As the mid laner, it should always be your like primary objective. Okay, your like secondary objective to back up your jungler when he decides to do something. This is a really good kill in the bot lane.
This trade bot
Yeah.
was huge.
Sabretooth, don't flash. You are so boned. Like, if you know you're gonna die and there's nothing you can do to get out of that because you used your arcane shift, don't waste flash. You just blew a crap ton of gold in that.
Alright, now this is a situation, looking at top, if Riven for any reason uses any of her abilities and doesn't hit Matt with them, he should immediately run into a bush and just try and go in and kill her, because he has a significant health lead. He is 4 ferocity points, now 5, and the only thing she's going to be able to do is stun and then combo. If she uses her shield or any of her abilities, he has some pretty big kill potential. He just does not want her to hit 6.
Karrigan, I would shove this and then leave. As soon as you kill that cannon, you should dip. Oh, actually, you have a level lead. She actually could probably fight him now. Never mind. You're fine. You're good. But yeah, back to don't use abilities or summoners if you know you're gonna die. And the same thing goes for if you know you're gonna get a kill. If you know you're going to get a kill, don't exhaust and don't ignite if you think, like, only use a summoner if you're absolutely confident you're not going to be able to.
Alright.
Right there, I would give it to you Pade because she flashed and she was technically out of range, but
Nami flashed, and that was a pretty, like, she could have lived with that flash. The issue was she also just flashed straight into a Caitlyn trap. So she was dead anyway from the trap damage with that flash. So you also have to be wary about where you're flashing. It's one of those like look before you leap sort of things, unless you absolutely have no choice. But even still, you could have flashed at like a weird angle, and instead of flashing straight toward the turret, flashed a little higher. That being said, the auto attack was still flying through the air, so she was probably still dead.
No, the auto was not flying through the air.
It wasn't?
No.
Did she die from trap damage?
Yeah, she died from the
she
trap.
died from trap damage. Okay, then that was just a miss flash.
Yeah, but that being said, like, it was a good flash on both parts because Caitlyn would have gotten the last auto with the flash, and that's okay. That's not what we're talking about when we say don't waste a flash if you know you're going to get the kill. Like, you didn't think you were going to get that kill, that flash was good. But at the same time, you also need to note that burning a flash is really good. Like, I would take that as an advantage and just kind of call it and back off.
I would like to also point out that the new Rengar skin looks fucking awesome, and Mate, that I love it. I love every piece of that. Play that all the time.
Good engage going on from Karrigan. Nice job, Karrigan. Good job.
And that's Riven
You
doing
should push
what
that
she
tower,
does with metal.
Karrigan. If you
Yeah, there's okay, there you go. She's turning around.
Yeah,
There's no reason
attention
at this
to
point
Matt.
not to keep pushing when there's a minion wave right there and you get some free damage off. especially because if you keep pushing it to the turret, you're wasting minions for them to turn around and get gold from. So look at it as you're denying CS to the enemy just because you kept pushing it out. And Badger keeps going in and taking Amumu's farm, which I like to see because that's exactly what you do against a Amumu player.
Yeah, it's very good. Amumu, if you know that she is invading you like that, you need to. You need to.
Now Zach B just had a good flash to get out the moment he saw that the Badger was coming in on Vi, and he had seen that Badger had prepped the Q when coming out of the bush. He just flashed out and said, "Fuck this! I'm not even going to deal with it," which was very, very smart.
Yeah, guys, I know that I say things like, "Hey, you know, use cooldowns. Don't just like." Oh, this is a dead Jay. Don't go for a Mumu. Turn your attention on the Yasuo. In a situation like that, where Yasuo is a primary damage dealing opponent, you need to make sure that you're going for the person that has the damage.
I can't believe Badger lived right there.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised too. But
that was a good flash.
What was I saying before? Oh, cooldowns. I know I say use your cooldowns. When it comes to summoner spells, that's not something that you just blow for no reason. So, like, don't say, hey, Astrish, you said use my cooldowns. A flash is a cooldown that you don't just waste. So make sure you take note of that. Don't quote me on something I didn't say. But Matei and Riven top this is just.
The Riven is doing exactly what I said. When she gets an early advantage, she can really bully, and part of that is through some bad luck and a slight misplay early. But that's the issue with Riven. You give her that one little inch, and she's gonna really make you pay for it. And Kargan's playing Riven very, very well this game.
Yeah. So.
And it isn't even that Rengar's playing poorly, because he's not. It's
Okay, again with the wasted summoners. You ignited for literally no reason.
Yeah, there was no kill potential on her right there, and you're not under the turret, so it wasn't worth. And also igniting early if somebody is under turret, unless they're gonna kill you. I mean, that's more of like a scare tactic to get them off you quickly. But like earlier when she came on you under turret, you just ignited right off the bat. And she ran away, and then,
he died.
She had the kill potential again, and her ult comes up because it's retarded short.
Yeah. So you guys need to don't wait. I'm gonna butcher and beat this into the ground. Don't waste. Guys, turn to help your teammate. Don't waste summoners.
Karma's doing a good job of that.
Karma, good job on turning to help. You had the map awareness, and some pings went down, so good job.
Now, blue team is in kind of a sketchy spot right now. That being said, they do have a slight advantage of manpower against just a Yasuo, but Badger is very low. Now, what I would do if I was this Riven, since she's winning pretty handedly against Rengar, would be to try and shove that turret out and then make plays somewhere else, because she is a monster right now.
Yeah, she's pretty
And if she takes that turret, she could very well just turn and go help them take mid, or even help a dragon, which was just taken by the blue team, so they made up for some lost objective. But
yeah, alternatively, you can try and beat. Like right now, I would say help out your team, but at the same time, maybe and you look at LCS players, and I was reading it, and it made me laugh because it's so true, and it's something that we talk about a lot on Battle Arenas. The top laner's ability to pull the jungler up. Vi is doing work everywhere. She hasn't even come top, so maybe a good tactic for you right now is to beat the shit out of Rengar, force that top turret, and get Vi to come to you.
Well, and on the offside of this, if you're a good jungler and your top lane's losing that poorly, you're probably not going to go top at all, because that lane for the most part's already lost. And going top, if there's no kill potential, is a complete waste of your time. Unless you're doing it to relieve pressure, which at this point, since the turret's so low, and Rengar can't really win a 1v1 anyway, and he's been dying under turret, there's no reason to go top right now.
Alternatively to that, she's 3-0. One more kill, she's on a killing spree. She's going to be worth 400 gold. A kill on her is going to be big.
That would be fine, but you're going to need support from somebody else. Luckily, they have Karthus, who can ult and do some bonus damage. But I wouldn't be surprised if Vi didn't have ult, I would probably say that Riven could probably 2v1 Rengar and Vi right now.
Probably. Rengar is not very strong right now. And something Rengar is, they talk about it so often in the podcast. Whenever they give advice, they beat it into the ground. When you are behind, you build defensive. You don't build damage. Like, the Vamp Scepter was okay because you're farming under your turret, and if you got any poke, you could just get it back. But a pickaxe when she's beating your ass is a horrible idea.
Especially when your team doesn't really have anybody that tanky other than Vi, who, you know, isn't even close to having anything tanky on her build path. Right now, a Sunfire Cape would probably be really good. The Randuin's would be good too. I really like Sunfire. I typically get that. It's my poor man's Randuin's, so if I can't afford a Randuin's, I'll typically get Sunfire right away, especially if I need a little extra boost of survivability. But the nice thing is with Rengar is if they don't know you're around, you're doing bonus damage when you ult and you're standing around people because it does that extra damage as well. So
Badger's coming out for a gank. Just pinged it out. This will be interesting to see who wins this. Oh, and Kargan's going hard.
Riven goes in early.
Oh my goodness.
Now this is what I was talking about.
She's
with
so big.
potential.
You're right.
She can
Dash
this is
stun.
why I said don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna beat out that Riven 2v1 at this point. Just
So-
let the turret fall and then farm in that little area. You know, worst case she pushes up and then you have easy gank potential from the Karthus mid. You can swing by really easily.
Oh, good flash.
That was a sick flash.
Very good flash. And if you turn this into getting a kill, I would. Oh my goodness, I'd be so moist. But so I want to talk about Ezreal because he's really behind, and I wanna say it's because he's playing Ezreal, but at the same time, Ezreal's actually like pretty good against Kate. Of anyone that can lane against a Caitlyn, Varus is like Varus and Jinx are the only two that come to mind aside from Ezreal.
Well, Ezreal's laning phase is ridiculously strong, but that's his strongest point in the game is his laning phase, and just because of the fact that, you know, both Ezreal and Nami were so behind early, his laning phase got completely negated, and he didn't really get to take advantage of that early game power. And Kate is just, she's like a catch-all AD carry in the fact that she's just good. Like, she might not excel better than anybody else. She's just a really, really safe.
Yeah, she's well-rounded.
You know, that's not particularly great for
Holy crap. Kargan hurts. Like, she was just...
Well, there's some free money.
1v2.
Or hard-earned money, I guess, would be a decent way.
No, kill him, guys.
Nice.
There we go.
Oh, that was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Was that a triple? That should have been a triple.
There's a double.
That's a beautiful play. I will say, I noticed that during that fight, Yasuo, he was putting out a lot of damage, which is what Yasuo does. And I will say, Mate's doing a great job in pushing top lane to make up
that's
some
exactly
loss.
what
That's
you
exactly
want
what
to
he should be doing, especially when he's this behind. But Yasuo first built a static shiv, which is not uncommon, and that's typically what you want to do. But the thing is that a lot of players that don't play a lot of Yasuo do is that they'll buy static shiv and they'll forget that you build up static charges on it when you move. So, because of that, you need to be pretty good at timing when you're going to hit with auto attacks, and you need to move in between auto attacks to maximize the amount of static charges that you get while you're doing things.
Yeah. Well, it's something that I talk about too, orb walking, when people are always like, well, what's orb walking? And like, AD carry, I don't know how to orb walk. You don't just orb walk as a range. You can orb walk as a melee as well. So, you know, like, do that. And it's a good practice to do it with someone like Yasuo who has static shiv, because you're exactly right. Like, moving and using the movement to not only get your passive up, but to also get your static shiv up is very, very good practice to orb block with melees as well. Because it is important. Orb walking is not something that only AD carries do.
No, and especially, it's Yasuo is definitely one of those people that his damage gets much, much larger when you get very good at orb walking when you have a shiv. Just because, you know, you already get a huge boost in the fact that you're one of the most mobile champs anyway. You're getting the bonus shiv. Shiv stacks just by using your E and moving like that. you can really maximize a lot of bonus magic damage, which people typically aren't itemizing against you, and really shock. No pun intended with the static shiv. The enemy player by producing a lot of electrical damage via magic.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking pulled a declaw and I didn't even notice it. I'm so disappointed in myself.
Nice. So we're gonna have a couple minutes to talk because Badger's resetting. So I want to go back to the Ezreal and say that Ezreal, being at a disadvantage, you need to really. It's difficult because you're in a really hard situation right now. You're not really useful at all. And it sucks to say because it's true. You have like no damage. Just by looking at your items, I'm gonna guess you're somewhere around 120. No, not even 120. Maybe like 110. And it sucks being at that point just because you really can't. Fighting in a team fight's very detrimental, but things that you can do are you can ward, use your totem, you can freeze a lane. I would even suggest saying, hey Riven, you're more useful than I am. How about you go team fight and you protect objectives and you go mid or bottom?
You basically almost play the role of AD carry while I go off in a side lane and try to catch up.
While I farm, because that's what you need to do. You need to farm. Like honestly,
Yep.
You're not going to get kills because you don't have damage to last hit. Or
You're not really providing that much in a
Yeah.
team fight setting. You
So-
might as well try and just you're playing catch up right now, and
and that happens.
you couldn't even clear a wave with your
Yeah.
ult at the moment. So you need to get to a point by just going off and farming as much as you can safely.
Yes.
I might add.
Yes, and that's why top lane is great for an AD carry. Because, one, like, it sucks to say, but you're away from Dragon, which means if they were to try and converge on Dragon, you can't put yourself in a bad position to feed because you're so far away.
Now,
And
I will say I completely agree with where we're going with this, but at the same time, you also have to be aware that you are playing against an enemy Rengar, and
yeah.
he can kind of just show up and fuck your face if you make a mistake, which you have a little bit of warning about that, but what you really just need to do is you need to try and catch up as much as possible, whether that's farming off a side lane, going with somebody else and just trying to pick up as much CS as possible. You really need.
You have to
to
get back
catch
into this
up.
game. As an AD carry, there's nothing like you. AD carry and jungle are the two people that have to be viable. Pretty much like they have to be places. You have to be with the team and you have to be making plays. Like it's debatable to say that supports and mids need gold too, but the awesome thing about both of those is that they kind of get inherent damage just by leveling skills and just being there. Like they're because they're there, they're good. While AD carries and jungles require gold. Nice catch on Zach. That's what you
One
get
of
for
those
not going
things
low.
where if you don't know where anybody is
Yeah.
and you're running around in bushes, even if it's in your jungle, especially when you don't have turrets, you're
Yeah.
probably dead.
Yeah. So, Ezreal, you're not going to hear this now, but I think the best solution for you is to talk to Kargan and say, hey, like, let me get some fun. Holy shit, Kargan hurts.
The damage he puts out is incredible. And
Good juke.
Mate has a fucking sick juke. Hopefully he lives out of that because that was a really good play on his part.
Yeah. They're gonna,
Except he just ran past a purple ward. They're gonna keep pushing though. It's good.
Yeah. And they should, because he's at 0-4, which means he's worth 210, 200.
Now Yasuo should be able to stop this push by himself, and I will say Kargan and Nami are doing a very good job pushing the top lane.
Yeah.
So they're making up for some of that lost. Oh man, if that would have landed. Nice, very good. Yasuo just keep moving, Yasuo.
Oh, close.
He was still moving, and there wasn't much you could do about that. That really sucks.
Atrocity, I don't think we're going to do another one after this. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to doing it if you want to.
Don't give a fuck.
I suppose we probably could.
I will. God, this fucking Karma has been doing some really good work this whole game.
So,
Just being a nightmare.
something on purple, because you're going to get out of this because fucking Nami, but you need to... you guys
Potentially
almost
get
got
out of this.
caught out of completely bad position. No, purple team, collapse onto your top lane. If you see you're in a bad pickle,
Oh my god. Come on, purple team, do something cool.
Sabretooth, you use your arcane shift to get into. Okay, so right there, they saw a Nami out of position, and they got tunnel visioned. Don't do that. Don't do that. But
And
that
I
being
will say
said-
the only reason they probably stayed ahead and turned out more stuff like that is because they're significantly ahead at the moment.
Yeah.
Um,
But okay, so what having Kargan and Nami after you took that tower, you should have realized that they were backing out of the mid lane, and you should have left. Like, you should have just left, honestly.
and that was one of those situations too where it might have just been better off for one of you to sacrifice yourself so that the other could live. When
Probably
you were
the
already
Nami.
that deep. Just because I don't know if it was nice that Riven could turn around and get a kill out of that and make it, you know, slightly
Somewhat
more worth it, but neither of them should have died at the end of the day anyway, so
It could have been avoided with like realizing that they were collapsing on you and just leaving. And this Caitlyn is like looking at a Moo like, hey, I want to fuck him up.
Oh, Kate, you hit hard. Oh, Yasuo.
And
Tornado,
Zax
no help.
in a bad spot.
That would have been, it could have potentially been very different if Tornado would have actually landed, but Jesus Christ, that Caitlyn hits hard.
Yeah, that Caitlyn hurts, and actually Rengar kind of hurt a lot more too.
Yeah, that's the Rengar does a ton of damage to squishy targets, so that's not necessarily a surprise. He just has so much upfront damage if he has a 5-stack ferocity. And when you're in the jungle like that, in a bad spot, he basically can just keep ping-ponging to you, and even if you're somebody like Yasuo has a lot of move speed, he can jump around.
I am really happy that Ezreal decided to buy a ward. That really
And try and provide as much
yeah.
information to his team, which is
good.
already behind. Now,
exactly-
Riven going in here, kind of crazy, but hopefully, he's dead. Kind of jumped the gun on going in that early, and focusing Karthus early, not always the best decision. I think that Riven shouldn't have been the one to all in right there, but
Yeah,
God,
you
that
gotta-
sucks. That
Riven
Amumu
and
was
Amumu.
right behind, and I understand you were trying to force something to happen, but that was just, yeah, you're 7-3 now, but that doesn't mean shit when they have a huge shield from
Also, Merc Treads.
Sick Face, Karma, Merc Treads for the stun not lasting as long, and just the upfront damage potential from a Rengar and Caitlyn is also massive. So,
No, I'm saying I think you should have gone Merc Treads instead of.
oh, the Boots of Lucidity.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been a bad pick. With the fact that they have Karma and Rengar, that's a lot of stunning. So it wouldn't have been bad at all. I do like
And
I
trap
really like
stun.
Lucidity, and it probably helped out a ton early.
Yeah.
But at this point, when the other team's really far ahead,
Yeah, it's
the gap's just been getting wider, which is upsetting for the purple team because I really feel bad for Riven because she's
Okay.
doing a great job.
Zach B, your build is pissing me off though as well. Like I hate Blade of the Ruin King on. Well, I mean I like it, but not second.
Not second
item.
by.
Okay, so as just because of who you are, you need to realize that you're like an 80 carry in the sense that you blow people up, but you don't really like you auto, but not a whole lot. Like right there, Blade of the Ruin King literally did jack shit for you. Instead, if you had like IE, you could have actually probably killed that Caitlyn.
Or maybe gotten a couple lucky
Yeah.
crits off to at least scare her into doing something not smart.
So like, you gotta
I-
go.
Unless you're ridiculously ahead and their team is just overly tanky, I would not say get a Blade of the Rune King second. Since they don't really have anybody on the blue team that is that tanky, overall, Infinity Edge is going to do a ton more damage to you, just because there's barely anybody with any armor on the blue team anyway.
Yeah.
Randuin's is okay, but for the most part, Rengar is a pretty squishy champion. I wouldn't worry about just that one armor item on him. And Vi is straight damage at the moment, except for a Giant's Belt, and a Giant's Belt isn't going to save her from stupid IE Yasuo crits.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I know, I can see why you wanted to sustain and you wanted the attack speed to lower the cooldown of your Q, but static
At this
Shiv-
point, you can't even split push, so it's not worth having.
Yeah. One, your static shiv and your Greaves are already doing that. Like you have the
Rengar's
cooldown
big.
on your Q. Like I don't know. Wow, nice ult. And if you,
That was
I'm
a good
saying
ult.
if you had IE right there, you probably would have killed 2 people. You would have killed Rengar, and you probably gotten really close to killing.
Rengar has Mete did a good job, and even though he was shoved out of lane and he lost very hard early, he stayed at it, kept farming, and stayed in the game. And because of that, he came back and was actually. He may not have had a lot of kills at the end, but the dude had 13 assists and provided a lot of upfront damage for his team to make stuff happen too. So he did a good job coming back.
Alright, so whoop, not that one. I'm not pwned.
Yeah, T-Force podcast channel right now is being controlled by Asterishan, so don't think it's Pwn, because it's not.
I did get a good laugh. But so we'll talk and see